we went to Sephora, I got this little bag, and she's like, okay, that's $90. And I was like, wait, what? $90 for what? I got like 3 things. And she's like, oh, that Dior foundation you have is $50. That's right, friends. 50. Because I know that $50 is a lot of money. It's very expensive. So let's see if it lives up to the price. So let's get started with applying the foundation. So it comes in a box. It looks like so. And it says it's DiorSkin Star Studio Makeup Spectacular Brightening Weightless Perfection with sunscreen. So this has a sunscreen, and I think it's of SPF 30. And let's see, it says inspired by the professional illuminating techniques and expertise of its makeup artist, Dior invents DiorSkin Star, its first brightening foundation, a weightless fluid capable of instantly and over time recreating the spectacular and perfecting light of Dior's backstage studios, a complexion that is instantly more luminous and visibly evener day after day, a clarified, purer, more dazzling complexion, flawless coverage, long wear. So when I was in Sephora, it said that this is medium to full coverage, it's long wearing, and this is a semi-matte or demi-matte. I think it said it's a demi-matte foundation, and when I put it on my hand, it literally went matte in like 30 seconds. I tested it out on my hand. And they do have another one that is more of a light to medium coverage, and I think it's more suited for normal and dry skin. So I'll put the name of that one somewhere on the screen. I can't remember what it's called right now, but this is the more full coverage matte foundation. So the shade that I got was, when you open it up, it looks like this, and the shade was, I think it's called dark brown. It says 070. But I remember on the little display, I think it was dark brown. Where's the name? Yeah, here it is. So it's 70 dark brown. So that's the shade I'm in. And just as I've told you guys, probably you've heard me say it a million times, I am super, super oily. So I really wanted to put this to the test because this bad boy is not cheap. And so it says to shake well. So let's shake it before we put it on. But first, I always start with a primer. So let's see. I mean, I just always do my face with a primer, but just so that you guys can see, let's do one side with primer and one side without. So when I went to Sephora, I also got the Cover FX Mattifying Primer with Anti-Acne Treatment. So I told you, I have very, very, very oily skin. So I always use a primer, but I know a lot of you like to see it, how it wears without a primer. So we're just going to do, let's do the right half of the face. And I'm just going to put that all over the right half. I have this nasty zit right here. It won't go away. It's actually like the scar, leftover scar zit. Okay, TMI. I'm sorry. Oh, I forgot to tell you the time. If it looks like I'm squinting, it's because there's a big window right in front of me and I have it open. It's really early in the morning. It's currently 6 a.m. So we're going to have this on all day and let's see how it does. I'm just a little skeptical because it says it's long wearing, and even foundation that says it's like 24-hour wear. Except for the Kat Von D foundation. That one actually really does stay put. Because I'm so oily, most things really just start sliding off my face after a couple hours. So, okay, we have primer on the right side, no primer on the left side. So you open it up and it looks like this, and I really like that it has a pump. I find it so annoying when you spend so much money on these foundations and they don't have a pump. Like even MAC's Studio Fix Fluid, I think it's like $20 or, no, it's not 20, it's closer to 30 bucks. Can you give us a pump? I mean, this is not cheap. Like 30 bucks is a lot of money. Could you put a pump on there? She's like, oh, you want to buy a pump for $6? Like, oh, really? So I love that this has a pump. So to put this on, I'm going to use my MAC 187 foundation brush. And I love this brush. I've literally had it 4 years. I love it because it buffs the foundation into the skin and it just makes it kind of look like it's airbrushed on. So I'm going to start with one pump. And you get a pretty decent amount in one pump. And just looking at it, you can tell that the consistency is pretty thick. I think it says it's light wearing. So just looking at it, you can tell that the consistency is pretty thick, like it's not moving from my hand right now. So I'm just going to put this on the brush. And when I use this brush, I just like to go in circular motions because it really just buffs the foundation into the skin. But when I use my flat top Kabuki F80 brush from Sigma, I actually press it into the skin because that's how this one works. But I found that this one works better when I just go in circular motions and I buff it into the skin. I have to say, just from putting it on, it feels really nice. Like, even though it looked really thick on the hand and it didn't move, it feels light. Like, it doesn't feel heavy on the skin, which is nice. And it has a smell. It smells like a clean floral scent. I like it. Some people may not like that, but I like it. Like when I had the brush next to my nose, it's like a small hint of something floral. Alright, so one pump covered the lower half of my face. I'm going to go in with another pump. I'll do half a pump. That kind of worries me. I mean, considering it's so expensive. You do get a lot though, but usually I only have to use one pump. So we're going to go in with, that was just a half pump. Oh, and I forgot to mention, sorry about the boxes over here. I'm going to be moving soon, so I'm starting the packing process, which takes forever. So that's why you have those lovely boxes right here. Those will probably be there for my next couple of videos because I'm not moving right away. I'm just starting to look, but I like to be ahead of the game and start packing. Okay, so I've got it on. First impressions just from putting on. I had to use a pump and a half to cover my whole face. It feels really light. Like I thought, remember when I just showed it to you, it was really thick, it wasn't moving. It feels really light and it has a scent. I like it. It's very, very light and subtle. It's like a light floral scent. So if you don't like those types of things, you may not like it, but it is very light and it feels light. I don't know. It's weird because it looks like you can see that I have foundation on. It kind of reminds me of the same look that the Kat Von D Lock-It Tattoo Foundation gives. Like you can see it's not sheer. This is a full coverage foundation, but it feels really light, which is nice. And I don't mind that you can see that I have foundation on. I love full coverage foundation. So far I like it. So let's move on to highlighting and contouring because that's what I always do. So I'm going to highlight with my LA Pro Girl concealer, and this one is Cool Tan. I'm just going to do a light highlight today. And I'm just using my beauty blender to really press that into the skin. And this is my e.l.f. powdered brush. It was like $3. I love it, but it's so soft. So there's no powder, there's just like leftover powder on it. I'm just using it to press that LA Girl concealer into the skin, and I think we're all blended out there. So let's do some contouring now. So I'm going to use my Black Opal foundation, cream stick foundation in Black Walnut. I'm just going to use my e.l.f. brush and I'm going to contour the nose. I think I'm just going to contour the nose. I'm going to keep the face pretty simple today because after this, I think I'm going to film like a graphic eyeliner tutorial where I'll do like some double winged liner or something. So I'm just going to keep the face pretty simple today. I don't want to do like heavy contouring all over the forehead, the cheekbones, because sometimes you just don't feel like doing all that. You know what I mean? So that's done. So let's do powder and then we'll check back in a couple hours. So I'm going to use my L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte 16 Hours Matte Finish Powder. And this one is in, oh, I think I ripped off the shade. But it's just a really matte powder. I love this stuff. You don't want to keep reapplying it too much throughout the day just because it is very matte. You don't want to look cakey. So I'm just going to apply this on the areas where I didn't apply the highlight from the LA girl. I use my Ben Nye powder to set the highlighted areas, and I'm just going to use my e.l.f. powder brush. I just tap it to get all the excess off. And this is just going to make sure that this highlight does not move throughout the day. And I need that because I told you I am super oily. Alright guys, so that's it. So it's currently 6 a.m. in the morning. I think it's like 6:20 at this point, 6:15. So we're early in the morning. I'm going to keep this on for as long as I can. I can tell you the very first impression, I really like it. It went on super matte, like, well, it's the beginning, but it went on very matte. I will say that you can see, like, it's not a sheer to lightweight coverage. So if that's what you're looking for, you might want to go with the other foundation I mentioned earlier. This one, it's definitely a full coverage foundation, but it covered, you know, I even had a little blemish here. It covered that. I only had to use a pump and a half. So the real test will be to see how it holds up throughout the day. So it's 6 in the morning. I'm going to keep this on for as long as possible. And we're going to see if this bad boy is really worth it. Because I know that 50 bucks is a lot of money. It's very expensive. So let's see if it lives up to the price. So I'm going to do the rest of my makeup. And I'll check back in a couple of hours. Okay, everyone. So the time is now... Can you see that? Yeah, there you go. So the time is now 2:30 p.m. So I have officially had this on. Oh God, hold on. We know my mouth is horrible. 6 to 10, that's 4 hours. 10 to 2, that's 4 hours. Oh, okay. So I've officially had this on for 8.5 hours. Oh my God, that's kind of crazy. It doesn't feel like it's been that long. So remember, this side of my face is the side with the Cover FX primer, and then this side here is the side with no primer. And I have to tell you, I am shocked because I have not blotted my face one time. I did not retouch up with any powder or any foundation, and I told you guys I am usually super oily. Like, I know some of you are going to be looking at this and be like, girl, you look oily. No, I'm usually like way, like 10 times more oily than this. And this stuff has held up. You can see that, you know, there's a little bit missing here on the side with no coverage. It looks like it's faded right here. And it looks like it's faded a little bit up here by the forehead area. Now, when I look at the side that has the primer, it has not faded down here and it has not faded on my forehead. So my number one observation is it definitely wears a lot longer and better on the side with the primer. Like, even my pores look smaller. I'm a lot less, well, actually, sorry. It definitely wears a lot better with primer. On this side, the side that has the primer, my pores are smaller. I'm less oily on this side, and I can tell that the foundation held up better because on this side, my pores are way bigger, like really visible, and some of the foundation is missing down here and up here. So one, I definitely like that Cover FX primer. That stuff is great because my pores are significantly smaller on the side where I used it. Two, the foundation wears a lot longer and better with a primer. Three, this stuff has not moved and it's done a pretty good job of keeping me reasonably matte considering I've had this on for 8 hours. I mean, there's just one spot down here that I could use a touch up, but everywhere else my blush has held up, my contours held up. So I like it. I really like it, actually. Do I think it's worth 50 bucks? I don't know. I think it just has to be a personal preference thing. Honestly, it really reminds me of the Revlon Color Stay Foundation that you can get at the drugstore for $11. I think it ranges between like $10 and $12. It has the same consistency. It has the same length of time that it'll stay on the face. It gives you a medium to full coverage that you can build up. So it's just really a personal preference, I would say. I don't know. I just still have a hard time wrapping my mind around the fact that the foundation is 50 bucks. But if you want to splurge and treat yourself and just maybe get something nice for yourself at Sephora, it definitely does a good job. It is long wearing. Definitely, it's better wearing when you use a primer. I would highly suggest it because without the primer, it does kind of fade a little bit. But if you use a primer, I've had it on for 8.5 hours, you will be good to go. So does the foundation do what it says it will? Yes. Is it long wearing? Yes. Is it buildable, medium to full coverage? Yes. Is it expensive? Hell yes. So it's all about what you prefer, what you want to do, if you want to spend that much on it. But I'm just letting you know that it does say what it will do. I'm just letting you know that it does do what it says it will do. It's buildable, it's long wearing, it feels good on the skin, it has a nice little scent. Oh, that's one thing. It feels good on the skin, but you can feel it. I know a lot of people really like lightweight foundations. This is not lightweight. You will feel it on the skin the longer you wear it. I know when I first put it on, I was like, oh, this feels so lightweight. Throughout the day, you will start to feel the foundation on your skin. Like, I kind of wanted to take it off, but I was like, no, I have to do my first impression. So hopefully this 8-hour first impressions gave you a little insight into the foundation. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this on any foundations or any products that you are interested in buying. I can buy them for you, test them out, and let you know if it's worth it or not. I will see you next time. Bye, guys.